Chapter 29. Soup DAYZOOR. Interstate 71 Freeway, Ohio. Jameson drives at a steady speed along the I-71, in silence. Black sits up front, with Penny sitting in the middle in the back seat. Jameson is in deep thought. He peers at his own face in the rearview mirror.
See? Jameson, not Ace. I don't know what game these people are playing, but I don't like it. Trying to get into my mind, twisting the truth, manipulating reality, trying to make me take responsibility for those horrendous murders with their schizo fantasy that I am Ace. Like I don't know who I am? An invention? I invented myself?
He quickly checks in the mirror again.
Definitely Jameson. I'm not Ace. How could I be?
He adjusts his head so he can now see Penny sitting in the back.
And her father? Come on.
He studies his own face for a moment.
That would make me the youngest father on the planet, if it were true.
He studies Penny's face.
Nothing like me. And I think I would remember her birth, let alone the conception.
A disturbing memory flashes through Jameson's mind. He is somewhere in a bright, white room. He looks down at his hands. There is blood on them. He looks up to see Melissa. She is lying still on a bed.
The blood on my hands. It's Melissa's.
Oh God, what did I do?
Jameson whispers.
Huh? What?
Black asks, turning to face Jameson, who is still in his daydream. He looks up in the dream and looks upon Melissa's face.
She is smiling?
You're veering?
Black says, with some alarm in his voice. Jameson snaps out of his memory and realises he is dangerously close to the verge. He quickly corrects his steering.
Sorry about that. I was miles away. Probably not what you want to hear from the driver of any moving vehicle.
A lot on your mind?
Of course. Such as, while my identity is still up for debate, I've come to realize that we haven't properly established yours. Who are you really, Black? FBI? A therapist? How am I expected to trust you, or anything you say? And yet, here you are, along for the ride. Let's start with, is your name even Black?
Black sighs and glances over his shoulder at Penny.
Why are you looking at her?
Jameson asks, catching Black's glance.
Father.
I told you not to call me that.
Why do you ask questions when you're clearly not prepared to accept her answers?
You've been lying to me since the first day we met.
Oh, have I? And when exactly was the first day we met?
I can't recall the exact date, but it was the day on the Bureau's jet. When you brought me in on the Ace case.
That's not the Bureau's jet. That is my own private jet.
Oh! So it was your jet, was it? Psychiatry must pay a substantially better wage than law enforcement. Just who do you do therapy for? Hollywood stars?
Yes, actually. But doctor-patient confidentiality prevents me from...
Oh, come on. Not even a couple of names?
Angela Jolly, Mel Gibbon, Jim Carrey...
Are these details really so necessary?
And that most certainly was not the first time we met.
Oh, no? When was it then?
Well,
Black hesitates, becoming emotional.
how old are you now?
How old am I? What has that got to do with anything?
Luke, we've been driving for 2 hours. Why don't we stop at the next service station and recharge with some food? Some coffee?
Black huffs and looks out of his window.
Sure.
Jameson says, and signals to pull off the freeway. He finds a service station and parks the car in one of the few provided spaces. They exit the car. They enter the service station, which doubles as a diner called Finkel's Food. Jameson notices a sign above the door which reads, "No Mexicans" or "Marinos." The diner is small and dingy, and the black and white checkered laminated floor looks like it could do with a good clean. It smells like deep-fried anything and everything. There are a couple of empty booths. The tabletops are painted orange, and the upholstery on the booth looks like aqua-coloured faux leather, which is cracked and fraying. They pick a booth and take a seat. Jameson and Black take the window seats, facing each other. Penny sits next to Black. They are all quiet and gaze out of the window. Patsy Cline drawls out "crazy" from some horribly tinny hidden speakers. A young waitress shuffles over with her long autumn brown hair tied back with a red rubber band. She looks like she could do with a good night's sleep. She holds a small notepad in one hand and a pencil in the other.
What can I get you?
Penny reads the waitress's name badge.
Hello, Lois?
She smiles. The waitress just stares at Penny, emotionless, pad and pencil poised.
That's a lovely name.
Penny adds,
Thanks. I was named after my mom. Or maybe it was my dad. I always get mixed up about that.
So, both your parents are named Lois?
No.
Lois says bluntly. Penny averts her eyes for an awkward moment and spots a strange painting on the wall. It is a dark and sinister painting of a diseased-looking dolphin breaching high out of a black and oily ocean with a demonic jockey straddling its back who bears an extraordinary likeness to a famous NFL celebrity.
Wow, what a disquieting picture.
Lois turns and looks at it.
Yeah, I think it's titled Die Dolphin Dan, or is it Dan Die Dolphin Demon? No, wait. It's definitely Die Demon Dolphin Dan. My mother, who was in a mental institute at the time, painted it. Or was it my father? I always get mixed up about that too. It's called art therapy.
Penny, Jameson and Black all gawk at the disturbing image with dubious expressions. They all slowly look away in unison.
How sweet.
Penny says, turning to the waitress.
Lois, tell me, do you cater for vegans?
She inquires, smiling. The waitress just stares at Penny as though she is trying to decide if she is to be the butt of a joke.
Vegan? Is that someplace in Europe?
No. We're Americans. American vegans.
What's a vegan?
You know, vegans,
Penny says, trying to hold her smile.
vegetarians, no meat.
Lois stares blankly at Penny.
I could do you a cheese sandwich.
No, see, that's... Vegans are kind of like stricter vegetarians. We can't eat cheese either.
Cheese isn't meat.
Well, it comes from meat or a cow, doesn't it? And vegans don't eat cows, so no cheese.
Scrambled eggs?
No eggs either. See, I should explain that vegans...
Why do you keep saying vegans?
Do I? Keep saying vegans?
Penny blushes.
Oh, of course. I just said it again there.
Makes you sound like you're from another planet or something. Like this creepy film about people growing from alien pods I watched once with my boyfriend Joe. Well, ex-boyfriend, since I caught him with that slut, Susan. I mean, it kind of rhymes with vegan. Susan, vegan. Actually, I'm pretty sure she is the vegan, since her best friend Chloe found her with that cucumber and told me and a few other people, Sophia, Abigail, Logan, Michael and his boyfriend, of course, about it. I mean, her being a vegan and all, maybe she was eating it, but we all just assumed she was sticking it up her...
Sorry, can we get back to ordering some food?
The waitress just stares disdainfully at Penny and flutters her eyelids. Penny spots a crudely written sign. She points to it.
$2 for soup DAYZOOR?
The waitress just rolls her eyes, as if affronted by Penny's stupidity.
Soup DAYZOOR,
She says, crudely.
It's French, means soup of the day.
Ah, oui. Soup de jour.
Penny says, eloquently with a little French flair. Lois just stares blankly at her.
Do you want the soup of the day or not?
What is the soup of the day?
Chicken.
Chicken?
Penny smiles.
See, I think we need to go back to the start and go over what vegans can and can't eat.
Fries? Now that's potato, and everyone knows that a potato is a vegetable, not meat.
Lois stares at Penny smugly, like she has thwarted her in some way.
That's right, Lois. Most people do know that. Fries would be swell. Only, do you know what your fries are cooked in?
Lois looks momentarily rocked as she internally searches her mind for the answer. Her smug expression returns, indicating her success.
They're cooked in oil.
Yeah, but what kind of oil?
Lois glares at Penny, who holds her smile. The waitress huffs and skulks off towards the serving counter. She rummages noisily behind the counter, searching. Penny turns to Jameson and Black.
She's just checking the oil. Everyone okay with fries?
Black just smiles distantly and nods. Jameson looks on edge and says nothing. He just rubs his temples with his fingers.
Not in the mood for fries?
Penny asks Jameson. Lewis returns to the table and Penny smiles at her in anticipation.
The fries are cooked in lard.
Lewis informs her.
Alrighty then.
Penny says, turning to Jameson and Black.
Scratch the fries.
Can we just have a pot of fucking coffee and 3 mugs?
Jameson blurts loudly. They all stare at him, shocked.
Sorry.
He says, recomposing himself. Penny, with raised eyebrows, turns to Lewis and inanely smiles.
3 coffees, please.
Lewis feigns a smile at Penny and then glares at Jameson.
Sure thing. 3 coffees.
She looks from one to the other.
And 3 mugs.
She quickly walks away. Jameson sighs and continues to rub his temples.
I almost killed her.
He reaches up and grabs a salt shaker.
Almost smashed her skull in with the salt here. I mean, is it wrong to feel that way?
He shrugs.
Yes, okay, it is wrong, but how hard is it to eat out as a vegan? It's enough to drive any compassionate and non-violent vegan to murder.
He slams the shaker back down onto the table.
Is it just me, or does anyone else feel like they're in some kind of sadistic Monty Python sketch on acid? Does anyone else feel like that?
Perhaps you should keep your murder fantasies to yourself.
Especially as she's coming back.
Lewis returns with a pot of black coffee and 3 mugs. She places the mugs down on the table and pours 3 coffees.
Sugar is in the bowl.
She says flatly, turning to Penny.
But let me guess. You're sweet enough already.
Do you have any soya milk?
Penny asks. Lewis just stares vacantly at her and shrugs. Penny notices Jameson slowly reaching for the salt shaker.
Just sugar is fine.
She smiles at Lewis. The waitress rolls her eyes and returns to the serving counter. With a redundant bucket and mop next to her, she immediately busies herself with her mobile phone.
Should have gotten the coffees to go.
Jameson grumbles. They drink in relative peace, each consumed with their own thoughts and worries. Penny pays for the coffees and says goodbye to Lewis, who smiles for the first time.
Bye-bye, vegans.
She says, cynically waving. They exit the diner and spill into the parking area.
I think we won her over in the end.
Penny smiles. Jameson cannot help but laugh.
She smiled at us.
Penny points out.
She was smiling because we were leaving.
Black says. They all chuckle for a moment. They all stop to appreciate a large and bright full moon, boldly dominating the clear night sky.
Maybe we'll turn into werewolves?
Black asks, walking on towards the car. Penny and Jameson join him.
Or maybe something worse.
Jameson says, distant again. They climb into the car and sit in silence. Jameson starts the engine and pulls back onto the freeway, onward to Superior Avenue.